Hello there everyone and welcome to a new video. Today I'm going to be talking about my personal top 10 pros and cons of a movie which I saw a couple of years ago and what I think is one of the worst movies ever and the worst Transformers film ever, Transformers, but last night. So, I heard they had really bad reviews but I still went to see because I'm a Transformers fan and I agree with the reviews. So, I do have pros of a movie though, which I will admit. So I'm going to tell you my top 10 pros and my top 10 and cons. So let's talk about pros first. My first pro of this is probably a pro of the entire Michael Bay Transformers film series. The voice actors that he picked to appear in this film. So, because like the movies or not, the voice actors are always on point. The perfect voices like Peter Cullen, Frank Welker, and John Goodman, Ken Watanabe, John DiMaggio, Jess Harnell, and also a new one which was Gemma Chan. She was really good as Quintess despite the movie being god-awful. So yeah. My second pro of the last night, probab't the performances of several of the actors playing humans. For example, Mark Wahlberg. I think Cade Yeager is a much better protagonist than the Witwickies, because if you know this, guys, I cannot stand the Witwickies in Michael Bay's first three Transformers films. I just can't stand them. That's why I kind of prefer Age of Extinction and The Last Night to the others in a way, because it doesn't feature them. I also liked Josh Duhamel as Willie Marks, as always. I liked him in the first three films as well. And Isabel Moner was also really good as her character. And Anthony Hopkins, he's an awesome actor, an incredible actor, and he was really good as Simon Burton. It's a shame that he got killed by Megatron, really, isn't it? But we needed to show Megatron as evil, didn't we? So that was one of the good things. It showed a true Decepticon. Then one other good thing as well, Steve Jablonsky's score, because if you know this, guys, he's one of my favourite music composers, and the music he's done for the first 5 Transformers films is one of my favourite pieces of music of all time. So, and the music in this was good. I love how he included a reprise of Arrival to Earth, when Optimus regained his memories, and also at the end of the film, the Autobots theme from the first Transformers film, and the second one too. I don't think we've heard that since the second Transformers film, have we? So that was really nice to hear. One other pro I also have as well, probably the performances from the voice cast, particularly Peter Cullen, because he also played Nemesis Prime. That's what Optimus was known as under Quintessa's control. He really did a good job showing a new side to Optimus Prime, a dark side, which we've never seen before. So very well done to Peter Cullen, my favourite voice actor as well. And Frank Welker was awesome as Megatron. He sounded really, really scary, which was good. It's what you need for a character, really. I mean, it was quite similar to Galvatron, just a bit more deeper and much more intimidating, really. I'll say that. And I also mentioned before, Gemma Chan was also really good as Quintessa as well. So, yeah. Then one other pro that I have as well, probably the action was really good as well. So, yeah, that was really good. So, lots of gunfights and everything, really, as well. So yeah, what I've mentioned so far, I've mentioned choosing the voice actors, human cast performances, voice cast performances, the musical score, the action. So yeah, I've mentioned, how many have I mentioned so far? Hold on. The effects were also really good too, I'll say that. They were really good. And also as well, oh yeah, I forgot to mention Laura Haddock. She was okay as Vivian really, but I prefer her as Alison in between this movie. So yeah. Also as well, the return of Barricade, I also liked that as well, because he is an awesome Transformer. He really is. And Jess Harnell coming back as him was also really good too, as well. So that was really good. I've mentioned 10 pros of last night so far. I've mentioned choosing voice actors, that's one. Performances of the human cast, musical score, voice acting, special effects, the action. I've mentioned 6 so far. I think probably as well, the entire cast of Transformers picked for the movie was good as well. Like Megatron, for example, I'm glad that he came back as well. There's a little beef I have with the idea of Megatron in this one, which I'll explain later. It's one of the cons. So that's 7. Number 8, I guess it was a pretty good reason why Optimus was wanted, because I've always wondered why he's been wanted all this time in Age of Extinction, and then I found out in this film, so it was a pretty good reason. He's needed as well. So that's 8, and then after that, oh, what else it was there that was good about this film? It's quite hard because it's such a bad film. Probably what is it? Well, probably about, you know, Lennox being evil but turning good because he's part of the TRF, you know, the Transformers Reaction Force, isn't he? So, yeah, that's 9. And then the final pro that I have, probably when Cybertron crashed onto a moon, when it, you know, collides with the moon as it's coming to Earth, it was really good how they put the arc there from Dark of the Moon. That was a pretty good feature, that how they didn't forget about the arc. So yeah, that was pretty good. And then over to my top 10 cons. There's so many. So my first con, this is one that you may be all aware of. There's a scene at the beginning of the movie where we get introduced to Isabella and her Transformers friends, and then of course Cade Yeager, Hound and Bumblebee. Basically, in the location, it's war-torn Chicago, and I'm thinking, hold on a minute, it's like about, you know, 6 years, isn't it, since Chicago, because it takes place 3 years after Age of Extinction, this movie. So it's 6 years, and Chicago is still war-torn. Like, how have they not repaired it? You know, that's very odd, isn't it, really? Then, oh yeah, I forgot to mention the pro. Bumblebee's voice, that was good. You know, Eric Adar's Bumblebee, that was really good. So yeah. There is another beef I have as well. When Bumblebee regains his voice, Optimus says to him that he's not heard his voice since the War for Cybertron, but if you remember from the first Transformers movie, Bumblebee speaks at the end of it, so that's really confusing. Another beef I have is also, why has Galvatron come back to Megatron? We didn't see how he became Megatron. I mean, I was happy that he'd be back as Megatron, but I wanted to see how Galvatron reverted back to Megatron. Like, it was never told how he came back as Megatron. Then after that, oh yeah, Stanley Tucci. I like the guy, but I was really shocked that he was not returning as Joshua Joyce, and instead playing Merlin. Like, are you having a laugh? You see, because I was really looking forward to seeing him coming back as Joshua Joyce, because he was so funny. He was one of the characters that I liked a lot in Age of Extinction. I can't wait to see him return. So I was very excited about that. But seeing him, he didn't even have very much screen time. You know, I had about 3 minutes of screen time, that was it. So that was really annoying, really. Then, another beef I had related to screen time is lack of screen time for Optimus Prime, because he doesn't really appear very much in the film, does he? I think this is the movie which he has the least amount of screen time in, isn't it? In the Transformers film series, isn't it? I mean, there's about 2 or 3 scenes where he's on Cybertron, and then he doesn't appear then for a while until towards the end of the film when he comes for the staff. And then he appears for the rest of the movie after that. That's not really much, is it, really? So that's very disappointing, really, because he's the leader of the Autobots. He should have the more screen time, but he doesn't. That's ridiculous. Then one other one I have is probably Unicron. Like, why didn't they show Unicron as himself, you know, the giant planet that he is in G1? Why is he Earth? Like, that's ridiculous, isn't it? And why have we only found out about him now? Like, it's just confusing, isn't it? It's really confusing. And disappointing, isn't it? Then one other thing I have noticed as well is, if you remember at the Age of Extinction, Joshua Joyce says to Cade's family that he's going to give him a new home. Yet, in the last night, Cade's living on a junkyard with the Autobots. Like, really? Is that what Joyce gave him? A junkyard? Now, that is really confusing, isn't it? Oh, yeah. There's also a scene where Cade, Vivian, Bumblebee, and Burton's butler, Cogman, go onto a submarine, the HMS Alliance, I think it was called, and it's revealed to be a Transformer. Yeah, he doesn't transform. Like, are you sure it's a Transformer or what? Can't tell if it's a Transformer or not. So yeah, unless it transforms. That's ridiculous, isn't it? Then, as well, what other one? Oh yeah, There's a scene in a movie where the Autobot day trader who collects rubbish, he comes across Starscream's head. I think it was a good inclusion, but the thing is, in Dark of the Moon, Starscream's head gets blown up by Sam Witwicky and it gets totally destroyed. Yet in this movie it appears intact as just a head. Like, we don't know how he's gone from a blown up head to a fully repaired head. But luckily, guys, my audio series will hopefully explain that to you. So yeah. Right, so what? And is there any more left that I haven't said yet? So I've mentioned Megatron not being Galvatron, Optimus Prime and Bumblebee's voice, that's 2. Unicron, that's 3. Chicago still being Wartorn, that's 4. The Junkyard, Stanley Tucci. So I've mentioned 6. Any more? Well, that's pretty hard, isn't it, really? Oh yeah, the HMS Alliance, lack of screen time for Optimus. I've mentioned 8 so far. 2 more. Probably how he didn't explain why Lennox had joined the TRF. And also General Marshaller. Like, I don't know why. We don't know why they have joined the TRF, because they were friends with the Autobots. Like, that's really confusing. We don't know. I mean, my audio series may explain that for you guys, okay, so stay tuned for that. But yeah, it was really confusing seeing them as part of the enemy. But it was going to return good, really. And then one final one. This one may be obvious. I mean, there's a logical reason being that there was no Epps. Like, I was really disappointed that Tyrese Gibson could not return as Epps in this movie. If only they could have fitted his schedule with Fast and Furious film that was released that year. They should have fixed it, because it meant that he couldn't appear in this film. I was looking forward to seeing Epps return. I was very disappointed. But at least we saw Seymour Simmons coming back, so that was good to see, really, because John Turturro's an awesome guy. It was good to see him come back in Cuba, looking after the Autobots there. That was really nice. Right, so this was me talking about my top pros and cons of Transformers The Last Night. So, give this video a like, and if you feel there's any pros and cons that you think of that you want to share on this video, then please let me know in the comments below by all means. Subscribe to my channel, and I will see you all later.